Have you ever had an amazing interview and then nothing? You don't hear from them again? You've been ghosted? I've been in recruitment for 15 years, and today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly why that happens and how to prevent it. Let's go. Now, first and foremost, I just want to start by saying ghosting is wrong. It's inappropriate, it's unprofessional, and recruiters, hiring managers, HR professionals, they owe more to you than to ghost you. But it does happen, and it can be prevented. Now, one of the main reasons this happens is companies have a really slow timeline for hiring. All companies say they want to move quickly. And I've been in recruitment for 15 years, and when I work with a company and I say, when do you want to have this filled? They always say, yesterday, right? They say that almost every single time. However, when it comes time to actually interview and hire people, they take a super long time. So sometimes you interview with a company, maybe it's with a recruiter or HR on the front end, and it feels like you've been ghosted. They don't say anything, they don't reach out to you, you reach out to them, they don't respond, and sometimes they might actually plan on getting back to you, but they just have such an elongated process that you don't hear back from them. Now, another big reason is you didn't stand out enough as a candidate. So the reality is, if you are an amazing candidate who they absolutely love and they feel like we need to hire this person, the likelihood of you being ghosted is much lower. So it's really important to do your best to have like a great interview. And I know that's easier said than done, but also you want to be memorable by connecting with them in the interview. So you want to talk to them about things you notice about them. So if you see on their desk they have a picture with their family or a dog or something like that, or behind them you see some sort of memorabilia or something, you want to connect on a personal level. If you connect with them on a personal level, you have an opportunity to actually have a human-to-human interaction that is not about the job. You're going to increase the likelihood of being remembered and standing out. Additionally, sending a great thank you email after the interview is another good way to kind of stand out and be more memorable. Hey, by the way, if you're finding value in this video, hit that like button. It helps me a ton. Now, sometimes there's a mismatch, and that mismatch is the reason you're not getting called back. So what does that mean? Either you and them, there is a mismatch for salary, for culture, or role expectations. So those are things that you're going to cover oftentimes in a front-end interview. And sometimes, if you are on like a vastly different page with the person interviewing you, probably a recruiter on the front end, that's a reason you get ghosted. Because of a mismatch in that interview they uncover, they don't see you as a viable candidate. And because of that, they don't necessarily feel the need to close the loop. Now, you interviewed, so your expectation is they're going to reach back out to you. But they don't always do that. And sometimes it's because they immediately identify you as someone who isn't a good fit, so let's move on. By the way, if you feel you have ever been ghosted, leave it down in the comments and I will give you my take on why it happened if you give me the scenario. Now, another big reason people get ghosted is there is an internal candidate gets hired or they freeze the role. There's a hiring freeze. So these two things are different, but they happen all the time. The easiest path to getting a job is already being employed with a company. If you are an internal candidate and the hiring manager, you're in a different department, but they can talk to your manager and see that you're a good candidate, you've done a good job, it's the most direct path to getting hired. So sometimes you're interviewing with a company and they just end up hiring someone who already works there. Another big reason people get ghosted is that all of a sudden the company goes on a hiring freeze. So as a recruiter, you're working on several roles, you're very busy, and one of your roles, all of a sudden the hiring manager goes, hey, we're not actually gonna hire this role anymore. And as a recruiter, you're like, ever? Or just like right now? And they go, yeah, we're just not gonna hire it. And sometimes the recruiter just does not then reach out to the candidates. They just kind of leave it, move on, they've got other things to do. By the way, this again is very inappropriate. They should not leave people hanging. If your role is frozen, you should still reach out and talk to people. Another thing you should do is go down to the comments. That first comment, the pinned one, that is my free pre-interview checklist. It's just a full checklist of everything you need to do prior to your next interview to make sure you are set up for success. And it's free. Another reason people get ghosted is they have a weak follow-up strategy. Look, the reality is as a candidate, sometimes making sure you don't get ghosted is on you. You're going to need to follow up with the recruiter, HR, or hiring manager, and you're going to need to do it more than one time. Sometimes people have an interview, they reach out, they don't hear back, and they just move on. And they go, I was ghosted here. And yeah, they should respond to you. However, sometimes those are busy people. That second and third reach out attempt sometimes can be the difference between you getting a response from them or not getting a response. So my suggestion is from that final interview, a week is appropriate. But then if they do not respond that, after a few days, you can reach back out to them again. Look, most of the time when you get ghosted, it is not your fault, but you can reduce it. Another thing you can do to reduce getting ghosted is not make mistakes in the interview process. And it's why I made this video here. This video here is interview mistakes that cost you the job, and I wanna make sure that you don't make these mistakes. So you should go see this video. I'll see you over there. Like, I'm already there, so I'll see you there.